Good morning. It's so nice to be having coffee with Bob again with you this morning. These last couple of days have really been hard here for all of us in Oklahoma City. Monday night we saw it start to rain and the ice started forming on the trees, and we all knew what was coming. Some of us have lived through this before, and sure enough, through the night we began to hear the branches breaking like rifle shots, trees falling. It's a horrible sound. I got out of bed Tuesday morning, and just as I was getting out of bed, I literally got my cup to go get a cup of coffee when the power went out. Yep, we were one of the 300,000 to lose power. I stood here in the house for a moment just kind of trying to take in the effects. Wait a minute, there are no lights suddenly. And then the thought went to my mind, that means we're not going to have any heat. And then I thought, that means we're not going to have any internet. We won't be having coffee with Bob. And then it really hit me. Bob isn't going to be having coffee. There was no power to make that Keurig work. No, that was not a good morning. I came back and sat down here in this chair and just started thinking about all the things now that this is going to mean. What are the ramifications of not having power? You get so spoiled and used to it. And I sat here looking out of this bay window of my front little luxury VIP apartment for the last 13 days in isolation. And I was looking at all the trees hanging so heavy with ice. And I'm watching it continue to go down and listening to trees break. And I'm thinking I don't have any coffee. And then I thought about a friend of mine named Pat. Pat actually works for OG&E. And I knew he'd now be out here working in this weather. 16-hour shifts, just as fast as he and his crew could be working to try to restore power for all of us who are still sitting inside our homes. And I started thinking about him and what was his life like right now. And I said a prayer for him and for all of his colleagues, and I was grateful to them that they were working so hard to restore power to us all. As I sat here, I started thinking about 2007. We had just gotten the gardens and the mansion next to the church, and it was in December of 2007 we had a horrible ice storm. As the ice started forming on the trees and we were watching all those branches bend, Phil Greenwald and I went out into the garden and we started cutting branches and cutting as many leaves as we could to try to lighten the weight and save the trees in the garden. We were out there working when we would hear that crack, that rifle shot, and branches 6, 8, 10 inches thick would come crashing to the ground. In retrospect, that wasn't the smartest thing I've probably ever done. But he and I were determined to try and save the beauty of the garden. And though we lost some, it's amazing how much we did save. 2020 is a different time. I'm sitting here now looking out the windows and I was watching all of these trees breaking. I have COVID, not a thing that I could go do. That's the hard part. It feels so helpless. There's nothing that you can do. I have a friend who just bought a new home. They bought the home because they loved the backyard and this wonderful porch where they could go and sit and look out from all these trees. And now they've been devastated. One of the things that I came to realize through the last ice storm and through this one is that you go through this kind of a thing and you feel a real sense of grief. You love the beauty around you. You love the trees, the things that have grown, that have taken decades to grow. And in a matter of hours, they are gone. It's okay to feel grief. It's okay to feel sadness. Because if you and I don't ever grieve and we don't ever feel sadness, then you never start to get better. No, I've sat here a little while and I've thought about the things that I know are going to be lost when I finally get to see and go outside. I listen to the things crashing all around in my yard, hitting the roof, hitting the neighbor's cars, destroying a fence in the backyard. No, there's going to be a lot of things that look different. But the other thing I'm very sure about is you don't stay there in the grief. You and I are people of faith, and we're the people who believe in a resurrection. We believe in the gift of new beginnings and growth. Since 2007, I have seen such incredible growth and beauty in the gardens and in this park right outside of my window where I live, and I am sure that all that growth is going to return again. It's why we are the people of hope. It's just like in life. Whenever I've hit a storm and something gets broken off, life looks different, but I've come to know that it is still good, and it will grow, and it will still be beautiful. So we are the people of hope. In the midst of a year of the COVID virus and pandemics and ice storms and anything else you want to throw at us, we're still standing. We're still the people of hope because of our faith in Christ. So today, all I can say is it's great to have coffee with Bob again. And I can also say it's great that Bob has coffee. Have a great day.